I used to really struggle to make friends and communicate with strangers and connect with people on anything other than this really superficial, awkward level. And then I learned this one trick. And in the 5 years or so since I've been doing this thing, it has completely transformed my life and the way I speak to people and the confidence with which I show up in different rooms and different settings. And I won't gatekeep and keep you watching for ages to tell you the rule. The rule is this: the second you think of something nice about somebody else, you should say it immediately. Giving genuine, unfiltered, immediate compliments in like 98% of situations, and we'll get into the ones which aren't very good in a minute, is a cheat code to unlocking a far better life. And I'm not smart enough to explain the exact psychology of what's going on here, but if I give you a few examples of how I use this tool in my life and the kind of results it's had, you will understand what I mean. Because let's begin here. I have yet to meet a person who doesn't appreciate a genuine, unfiltered compliment, whether it's about their aftershave or the outfit they're wearing or how they did a presentation in work, whether it's about the way they showed up for you in life, about a piece of art or music they produced, or just the general energy that they exude. People love to have positive things pointed out to them because it's rare, it's very unusual for somebody to have a stranger or somebody they don't know very well say something nice to them. So as a baseline, it's always going to be well received when you give someone a compliment, which means that it's a good doorway into any other form of communication, personal or professional, because it's a great thin end of the wedge, a great way to break the ice and begin a conversation. And this is where this one simple idea goes off into a few different directions, because one of the things I used to struggle with most was being in new situations with new people who I didn't know, and as such I didn't know if I had anything in common with. And there is no easy way to begin a conversation with somebody who you literally don't even know the name of, let alone anything about them, because it's scary, right? You might have literally nothing in common with this person when it comes to their habits and routines and interests in their daily life. However, if you spot something you like about this person, maybe you like the jumper they're wearing or their shoes. Maybe they just gave a talk at an event and there was a particular slide that was really interesting to you. Whatever it is, you immediately have something in common with somebody when you compliment something that they picked to do or they picked to say or they picked to wear, right? You're finding this instant alignment, but it's what happens after that which becomes interesting, because once you've given the compliment, suddenly you're 3 or 4 layers into the conversation, right? You don't need to say, oh, hello, hi, my name's, who are you, what do you, none of that nonsense, small talk that nobody cares about. You're immediately into the deep end of the conversation, talking about something very nuanced and specific that you've happened to pick out. And that's a cheat code for getting to know people on a more human and a more real and a more memorable level when you begin the conversation there, because then it goes somewhere. So it's a great icebreaker and a great way to get to know people more. But then beyond that, giving compliments is some sort of like regret minimization tool that I've used in my life so many times to build my confidence and to actually connect with the people that I care about. Whether it's somebody that I had a romantic interest in, and in the past I would have kind of shied away from saying things that seemed too keen because that's awkward and they might push me away, or whether it's somebody I respect professionally who I've sent a cold outreach email to ask them to come on my podcast. In all of those kind of situations where you have not really anything to lose but everything to gain, immediately, without filtering yourself, without thinking about it, the moment something nice pops into your head to say to somebody like that, say it, because it will never be poorly received. It will always push you further ahead. And making sure that you have that hard and fast rule of giving that compliment immediately stops all of those situations that I'm sure you've had before, where you get home after an event and you say, I wish I spoke to that person, or you miss the opportunity to send that email or that text and then the moment's gone. You think of these compliments for a reason, you should say them immediately. And then beyond all of that, if there was a third reason, perhaps the most important reason to just say nice things without overthinking it, is because we don't do enough of it. I'm not sure whether this is a British thing or whether this actually translates elsewhere in the world, but we Brits are terrible at just saying how we're feeling without this kind of awkward, bumbly, apologetic, slightly disingenuous dance that we all do. If you have something nice to say to somebody or about somebody, you owe it to yourself and the whole rest of the world to do it, because there's not enough of it out there. And there's this positive feedback loop when you begin being more unfiltered and nice to people for no reason other than because you can. Other people will begin to do it to you and others all the same. You literally have the power to make the day of a stranger, or to boost the confidence of a colleague, or to fix a fractured relationship with a few simple words that you don't even need to think about, because compliments pop into your head without that filter, and you owe it to everybody around you to push them straight back out of your mouth without that filter. The second you think of something nice to say to somebody, whether you know them or not, so long as it's appropriate, so long as you're not being weird and harassing people on the street, that's the 2% that we should avoid, say it. Giving compliments improves the day of others. It boosts your confidence. It helps you connect more genuinely and more authentically with people. It leads conversations to really interesting and really useful places that you otherwise would never get to. It's an immediate change that you can make from this moment onward. In every encounter that you have, it will cost you nothing, it requires no additional effort, and yet it is one of the biggest and most profound changes I've made in my style of communication that has completely reshaped my life, and I want you to do the same. It's just something to think about. Let me know if you're going to try this down in the comments, and if you've already tried something like this, also leave a comment just to reassure people who are perhaps slightly worried about the unintended consequences of being nice to people, that it is okay, right? Try and back me up here if you've done this already. If you're not already, please do make sure that you're subscribed. Every Sunday on this channel, I share one idea to make your life slightly better or slightly easier, and if you enjoyed this one, please do like this video. It does help more than you might realize. That's everything for this week. I'll see you next week.